Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGOD. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down a subscriber's gameplay. If you'd like to have your gameplay broken down, make sure you check out the description because it has the specific details on how you can have your individual gameplay broken down. The whole point of this series is we take a subscriber's gameplay, could be average, could be below average, could be above average. We take a look at how they play the game and maybe some changes they could make to hopefully improve, and maybe look at some of the things that they do well that hopefully other people can take from that gameplay and improve themselves. So in this person's case, it ends up being their first ever solo win, and we're going to talk about how they got to that point. And even though they do end up winning the match, I did watch the last portion of it. There's several things that they could have probably done differently that would have actually allowed it to come by that much easier. So we're going to try and learn from their individual gameplay as I break it down. If you'd like to see more of this type of content on the channel, make sure you hit the like button. To go on this type of videos, 1,000 likes. If you're brand new looking to find your way back for more of this type of content, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. So we're going to go through the entire gameplay. Obviously it's 15-minute gameplay that I'm going to stop and pause throughout it. And if you see anything that I missed, make sure you comment down below. But the whole point of this thing is for everyone to improve. So try and be as respectful as possible, or your comment will just be hidden and no one will ever see it. So let's get into this gameplay. So right here, one of the first things that I notice is, even though this is at 720p, I am noticing that there is a little bit of motion blur. So I would make sure that you go through your settings, turn it off. I have a full video on how to actually adjust those, because there is a little bit of motion blur when he's moving around, aim down sight, which I find a little bit more distracting. Also right here, he's not doing very much shimmying. He's kind of just positioned out in the open, kind of like you want to be moving, maybe crouch a little bit, jump up and down, but he's kind of just standing there in the open, which is an easy snipe, and he's not able to recover because he doesn't have self-res. He hasn't gone in the gulag yet, so he's always got that as backup, but currently he doesn't have enough to just kind of stand out in the open and potentially get down from an easy snipe. So that was a good little check, kind of overlook. Maybe watch the edge of the storm, kind of loop around, maybe do a little bit of a hook to see if anyone's behind you. He's going to notice that there are a couple UAVs that are called in right now, and that'll give him some information on where people are. You can see the vehicle is up top over here, and he's kind of pushing in that general direction, which is okay. The guy jumped out, and ideally what ends up happening is somebody jumps out right here. Two different reasons. One is they're being shot at, so they have to get out of the vehicle. That's usually option one, and they're going to get out as quick as possible, but the vehicle doesn't explode in this moment. The other reason they're going to jump out at this building is they're going to go to the buy station, either for a UAV, self-revive, munitions, loadout. There's a lot of different things you can get, but for whatever reason, he doesn't keep an eye on the loadout. That's where I would be looking, because odds are the guy is going to be most vulnerable when they go buy something, and hopefully you can get them before they spend that money so you can get more of it. So let's go ahead and look at how he rotates here. So you do hear a UAV get called in, and then there's a second UAV called in, I believe. And I think somebody else is in the area, and they're like, oops. So that means there's at least two people likely in the area. Doesn't mean they're right on you, but does mean that they're going to be in the general vicinity. Also, he's kind of creeping up here. As he comes through here, you can hear somebody on the left side. He's going to the buy station. At least I heard footsteps that way. And now he's waiting patiently. Kind of hard to tell. More footsteps. There it is. Good timing. He luckily, easy kill. The guy just stood in place. I don't know if the guy was thinking he was upstairs. But look at that. So the guy ended up spending the money on the UAV, and then he ended up getting that. So it kind of worked out a little bit there. Guy literally did exactly what I said. Keep in mind that I've only watched the last part because I do want to give you raw impressions of what is happening within the moment. So good call, the UAV has enough money to get a self-revive. In this case, I might not have called in that UAV just right away. I maybe would have waited a little bit more. You know that behind you is fairly clear. So it's just a matter of getting out there. So it's kind of one of those 50-50. You don't have to use the UAV right away, especially since you're getting the self-revive. Wait till the storm gets a little bit closer to the gas, and then you could always pop the UAV, which will actually help with the rotation. So he's got to make this rotation pretty quick, or else he's not going to know. So you got a cluster strike. Still not a bad move. He is marking people, so there's two there. And this guy, I wouldn't necessarily push. He's going away from him. Different move here. I would have gone towards him and maybe catch the guy as he's rotating. Because this side, you don't know where anyone is. I mean, potentially they have ghost on. Kind of weird ADS spot, kind of looking more at the ground. Enemy UAV. I don't really know their loadout because, like I said, this is the last 15 minutes. They probably got a free loadout because they only had 2 kills when it started, and he does go to the gulag in the gameplay as I just kind of skimmed through. So it does look like he probably got the free loadout based off the timing. And this isn't a horrible rotation, but personally, I like to get into a little bit more conflicts. He ends up catching a guy. This aim, there's something wrong with this class setup. I didn't like the class setup. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it looks like it's a little bit too much recoil for them. I definitely check out one of my M4 class setups. I have a couple, and I don't have any problem with this particular optic. It's just more of the rest of the class setup. Looks like there's too much recoil for you as a player. And you're not getting enough of this barrel action, which actually helps with the bullet velocity, recoil control, and when you combine that with the Commando foregrip, you do get limited recoil. Personally, I think the Ranger foregrip is definitely the best grip for the M4 within Warzone. It's a little bit slow for multiplayer. You can get away with not having it, but I think either the Merc, Ranger, Operator, one of those underbarrels is going to be a good way to go. And he's doing a smart thing here. He's just kind of rotating at the edge of the zone. I would have marked this guy. All right, cool. He knows where that guy's at. And I guess there is a strategy behind that too. You know where somebody's at, so now you have your heartbeat sensor. If you go into that area, you're going to know where somebody is. And then what you do is just keep yourself on alert instead of just pushing that guy that is camping in a building at the edge of the map right there. You can see where the marker is. So right here, I would have probably approached this a little bit different. What happens is he's kind of out in the open, and nobody should really be looking this way, but you never know. Somebody could literally be in the fire station at the top window here, which often happens, and they're still inside the zone, right at the edge of the zone, it looks like, and maybe you're going to have a troublesome time. So you got to get to a little bit of cover. So I'd be pushing from cover to cover to cover, because you do have 17 seconds. As he rotates, you'll see he just kind of takes the open path instead of staying behind cover. And right here, he's completely in the open. If he starts getting shot at, odds are he's dead. He didn't make any rotations to be towards the edge of the wall. Didn't come up through the fire station. Obviously, he called in the UAV, so nobody popped up there. So even if he popped out the heartbeat sensor, it's not going to help. But he's definitely following the edge of the gas, which a lot of times these types of players do ruin other players' games that are playing a little bit more aggressive. But that's a trade-off with BR. Sometimes you're going to have to deal with this type of player. Sometimes you're playing with an aggressive player. Sometimes you're doing a room camper. You did hear a suppressed shot, probably a sniper shot, so you got to be aware of that. He does have a sniper rifle. Is he going to peek it? He did see a guy, and that's the guy still in the building where he put that orange marker. The other thing I would have done really quick is maybe check that blind side, because he came up through the left side, but he didn't do a quick peek to the right. So maybe I would take a little bit of glance over there and see what's going on. This fence, you got to go through the opening. There's another opening. So another thing that he could do too, he's in position where he could go to a buy station, pop a UAV, and then still pick up his cluster. So at least he could rotate then. Or he can go pick up a bounty, so at least he has a mini UAV for where somebody is on the map. Because once it gets past like zone 5 or 6, the bounties no longer work. All you do, once you pick him up, oh, he ended up picking up, and it ends up being the guy. Unfortunate that it's the guy here, he knows where they're at, and the guy doesn't have Ghost. Ideally, you want it to have somebody that is Ghost. What the heck? That's luck. That was dumb luck. That was stupid luck. The dude literally jumped in front of him. Luckily, he paused knowing where that guy was. That was stupid lucky. I didn't hear the guy. There's no indication there. The guy, oh, right there, he's shooting at you. So this was expected. I'm gonna show you. What happens is he knows the guy is pushing. There's no underneath. Literally, there's a walkway up, because it goes into like a ditch, and then there's a walkway up right here. So odds are this guy's gonna be behind the bus as he's pushing up. So he either doesn't know you're there. He obviously heard that there was a gunfight. If he heard any action, he knows that there was a gunfight when you beam this dude standing here. You do have enough money for a self-revive, so that'd be another good option. What I would do is try to rotate to this left side and catch the guy coming in here. And he gets a little bit of bad timing here as the guy comes up, but he doesn't have much cover. So I would at least position yourself in a way that you're going to have cover. because even though you did hit a good number of shots there, odds are you're losing this gunfight. Because just watch how he comes out. The guy jumped out. He lands some shots, but the guy ends up winning that gunfight. This is actually pretty dangerous. But more often than not, it's sometimes easier just to YOLO it, go for it. If you die, start a new match. If you don't, at least you have your loadout. It really depends on how you want to play. If you're really going for the win, I would maybe land somewhere near there and then try and grab it. And then you'd have at least a little bit of a better chance. The other thing you can look at is that there's an extra loadout here. That means that is on somebody else's minimap. I know I brought this up in the last gameplay breakdown. In this particular case, we can actually see that there's 1 and 2, and then there's just a vehicle here. And this 2 indicates that somebody else has this one right here on their map, but they don't have this one, and vice versa for somebody else in the lobby. But it only looks like one other person has this particular loadout from this angle. Goes and gets his loadout. It didn't load in. I was trying to see if it loaded. So he has a overkill, cold-blooded, and then amped so he could swap the weapons quicker. Goes right into a building. Oh, damn. Look how late he is in the game. I didn't realize that. There's only 9 people left. You got a gas mask, some plates. Also, one thing to be aware of is normally these last buy stations are heavily contested areas. Right here, I can't see the other edge of the zone, but it looks like this is the absolute last buy station. So if I had to put money on it, I would guess that people are going there for a self-revive, a UAV, a cluster, something. So there should be some kind of action there. I wouldn't even shoot that. It's just an ammo box, isn't it? Now, I would have just left it alone. If it was a proximity mine, I would have still just left it alone. You're giving away your position. Now somebody knows to heartbeat sensor you. They know you're in the building. Can't catch them slipping. Even though you don't have ghosts, the guy, he just easy kill, luckily here. How the hell did that guy not hear him? He literally walked up. Lucky. Super lucky. That's 2 in a row. I know there's going to be comments about skill-based matchmaking. Yes, there's definitely skill-based matchmaking. This player's like a 1.4 KD, I believe. So obviously, if you're in that bracket, your lobbies are probably similar to this. If your KD is more in the 2.0 range, 3.0, you have a completely different lobby. And if it's below 1, then you have a different lobby. That's just how it works in the game. It's been proven. If you want to go ahead and check that out, make sure you check out Xclusive Ace's video. He ended up breaking down the individual statistics of how it works with his gameplay, a subscriber, a dummy account, and Karma, which is a professional Call of Duty player. So if you're unsure what skill-based matchmaking is and why certain lobbies are different, I would definitely reference that video, which I'll link down in the description below. And sometimes that'll cause up questions like, why improve? Well, because at the end of the day, you're going to want to win the lobbies you're in. If you go into a little bit higher bracket, you're going to want to win those lobbies you're in. You don't want to just get stuck in a lobby where you continue to lose, and you don't want to do the opposite, which is to cheat and reverse boost. So I would just recommend improving the best you can. And sometimes you're just going to want to improve at how you handle scenarios, not necessarily look at, you know, how good the players are in your lobby. I would just focus on improving as an individual player, and hopefully at the end of the day, you're getting benefit from that across all multiplayer, Warzone, Plunder, whatever the case is, solos, trios, quads, hopefully duos someday. But we'll kind of see. So he's positioned here. Heartbeat, good. Personally, I would have still stayed on this edge of the building, just to try and see people coming from this zone over here. So there's only 6 people left. He has 7 kills. Keep in mind that 7 kills is the average number of kills for somebody who wins a solo VR match. Is 7 kills. So he's right now he's at the average for a finish. So if he got no more kills and ends up winning with 7, that would be the average. So anything gets above this is technically going to be above average. Not much he can do here. He has the middle of the zone. The sniper's not really going to help him out in this scenario. Yeah, this class setup's got to go. This is not a good class setup. It doesn't even have an underbarrel. He chose a different class this time. It doesn't even have an underbarrel. So it means he has 2 M4 class setups that need a little bit of work. So you could expect people to be on this side of the circle, rushing in from this building. And then and that's something to be aware, especially these late zones. Most people were already positioned because they did a bunch of recon. So they already knew where the final circles were. So what they could have done is been positioned in this building, this building, this building, and then the building you're in. There's no knowing if somebody has ghost in here. That could be a little bit sketchy. But what ends up happening is you could expect at least one. There's 5 people left. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then maybe 4 and 5. Where else are they going to be? They're probably not going to be in the middle of the zone, right? Also, the other thing, oh, you can hear gunfire to the left. Somebody just died on the left-hand side, probably by this building. Another adjustment I would make is as a zone is about to close, and you're going to see he gets into this next gunfight, I would go downstairs so you can come out the building, because anytime you have to jump out or jump out of something or off of something, you usually put yourself in a disadvantage because people could hear the glass break, people could hear you jumping, and then also your parachute opening. All these things give away your position. All the element of surprise is completely gone. So he knows somebody's on this side because that's where a gunfight was. So he's just got to wait it out. You hear the guy coming down. Good timing. Luckily, he was in a blind spot for the guy. Okay. So personally, the play I would make, he ends up breaking out this glass. What I would do is you have a full gas mask. I would go out really quick, and then I'd come out by this side so that nobody knows where you're at. Because once you jump out, you're going to see he almost gets completely destroyed. Probably should have lost the gunfight. Luckily, the guy missed enough bullets to leave him one shot. But you'll see how that plays out. So you see, he could have came around here. He would have been behind this cover to the left. If I go back just a little bit. So you could have came out this door, and you could have been in this area, which is completely in cover. Obviously, you'd have a gas mask. You'd probably burn some of that. But odds are you're not trying to do a heal off. So all you need to do is just get downstairs and then wait it out right here. And then once you got a kind of a little bit tighter circle, you could always call in the precision airstrike once you know where somebody is, especially when they're rotating. That makes it so they have to move, and that's going to be your opportunity to shoot them. But right now, there's still 3 players. He gets absolutely hit from the other side of here. But if he came out through here, he could have peeked that area, peeked his left. You can see all this area is still within the area. He could have just mantled over that railing, come down, and then just been in this area and been able to even safely heartbeat sensor. So he misses so many shots there, gets flinched. Goes up to plate. Should have died there. So what would have happened in this scenario is if he comes out that bottom, the guy never sees him, and then those 2 guys fight. Luckily, in this case, he has at least 1 plate in this scenario. He's going to be able to plate. The guy doesn't look at him. He gets below the wall here. And he knows there's a guy up here. Easy little kill. Now this is a one-on-one. The guy's not going to appear on there. Definitely has ghosts. Here's a risky play. He ends up going for the plates right here. But it's a good play, but he doesn't end up plating up. See, now he's moving from cover to cover. You can hear the guy coughing. His gas mask just broke. Somewhere over here, it sounds like. There he is. The guy was waiting the gas out. So he ends up getting a nice easy kill. Ends up a 10 kill win. And this was still making a ton of mistakes. He didn't play ultra passive other than when he came in late. He kind of had to camp it out a little bit, just listen. And that's partly the downside with solos is people play super passive in general. But this was still a 10 kill win. Kind of lucked out here that guy bailed him out. And then this guy ended up trying to plate back in the zone. And you know he plated because he's still sitting on plates, hopefully. Guy had dead silence. Proximity mine doesn't really help in this scenario. And that ends up being the win. Hopefully you guys did find the video helpful. If you want, again, your gameplay broken down, make sure you check out that description. If you're brand new, looking to find your way back, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Hit the like button. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.